is Faith Howard Mooney from the Mortgage Collaborative, and I am just freshly home from our conference in San Diego, where it was a little cooler than, we thought it was going to be, but it was also not snowing like it is at my house today. So, and we hope for those of you that did not join us in San Diego, that you will be joining us September 10th through 12th at the Grand Hyatt in Nashville. And I have a beautiful lady with me today who I'm hoping that I'm going to see there as well. So, with me today is Mickey Schilling, who is the VP of National Sales at Highland Mortgage. And share with me, it's not a background that I see behind you all the time. So, share with me where you're at.
Well, I'm actually in beautiful, sunny, spring has sprung, Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm sitting in the boardroom of our headquarters for Highland Mortgage. We are an Atlanta-based lender, and we are right in the heart of Atlanta. So you see my logo back behind me. So I'm proud to be here sitting in our boardroom today, but have a couple of new candidates coming in this week. So I wanted to bring them in to meet all the fine folks at our corporate office.
That is fantastic. So you transitioned like not too long ago. And I've been hearing that you've been having great success. So we maybe we'll talk about that a little bit as we
Yes.
kind of go along here. But let's kind of start more from the beginning of things for you. And share with me like what your first job ever, like your kid job, where you started your employment was.
Oh,
Um,
I have two jobs that I will tell you about. The first one was non-paid, but it was my grandparents lived about a mile and a half from us in rural North Georgia, and they had a farm. And so our job as kids were to go up there and help on the farm and collect eggs and help with the vegetable garden and all kind of fun things. So that was my first job as a kid with no money compensation, of course. My first real job though was at J.C. Penney, and I was 15 years old and I worked in the layaway, gift wrap, and catalog
I
department, and I
remember
loved it.
that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love to this day wrapping presents. And I wish I could get one of those huge bolt of wrapping paper, because
Yeah.
it just tore well and it was so easy to wrap gifts. So if I could do something for fun and not have to worry about money, I would be a professional gift wrapper.
That is absolutely awesome and kind of a nice first job,
It
really,
was.
honestly. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not, the standard, fix burgers or that kind of thing. So that's kind of a
Mhm.
nice way to start. So, once you were in, obviously that was your kid job kind of, and then at some point in time, you came into mortgage. So share with us how you ended up in mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. To quote my son, he always says, Mom, no one ever went to college to get into the mortgage industry. And I agree. Unfortunately, I think we do need to have a mortgage degree in college and tell more people about what a fantastic opportunity and career this is. And more importantly, what we do in the net result, which is to provide home ownership and create generational wealth through home ownership. But I had a couple of different careers prior to getting into the mortgage industry. At the time, I was working at a community bank in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I had a good friend who came down for the week to actually help her boss hire somebody for wholesale for JP Morgan Chase. Well, long story short, we went to dinner that night, and 3 days later, I got a call from her boss asking me if I might like to be the account executive for the coastal Georgia, South Carolina market for Chase. And I didn't know anything about mortgage other than how to get one and how to pay one. And I knew how to spell it also. So I had a great mentor. Her name is Amy Ramsey. She's still in the business today, and she gave me a shot. She truly changed my family's life from an economic perspective, and taught me this business, and has become a dear friend as well. So that's how I got started. I started off as a wholesale account executive for J.P. Morgan Chase, and this is my 23rd year in the industry.
Wow. Those friends. It seems like whenever I talk with people on our Inside the TMC family interviews, a lot of times it involves friends sharing what they're
Mhm.
doing and, kind of getting you into the business. Well, lucky you and lucky everybody that's had a chance to work with you throughout your career. When you started in mortgage, is there something that just like seems so obvious to you now that you wish somebody would have just told you then, but you kind of learned along the way?
Well, there's a lot of things I wish people had told me. Um, you know, this industry is challenging, right? We have cycles. And I think one thing you've got to tell people today, as I do share, is new to the business, be prepared for the cycles. There are going to be great, great years, and they're going to be very challenging years. And we are really in another challenging year. So save your money, number one. And number two, I would say, especially to females, learn as much as you can about this industry, not just what your role is right today, but try to find more opportunity for yourself by maybe learning a little bit about capital markets or learning more about the operational side. Maybe you need to get your AMP and then your CMB. I'm a big proponent for CMB for females and minorities. I got mine in 2021, and that's my passion, is to help more women and more minorities become CMBs. So I would just say always try to learn more. And sometimes also not to be afraid to take a step back in your career. Someone said this to me the other day. Sometimes you got to slow down to go faster. And that made sense to
Ah,
me. So I took a step back in my career in 2013. I went to work for a regional bank inside of the secondary department. They just gotten a Jenny Mae ticket. I helped write guidelines. I was on the credit committee. I helped with projects, new rollout of an LOS. I was the scenario desk. I managed all the investor guidelines. I learned so much in that 2.5 years that I think it almost was like a slingshot for me. So
yeah.
don't be afraid to take a step back. And there's a basketball coach. She's passed away now. Her name was Kay Yao, and she was the women's basketball coach at NC State. She battled breast cancer for 20 years. So that's what ultimately she succumbed to. But her quote that has always stuck with me is, when life kicks you, let it kick you forward. And I think that's
Ah,
very
I love
applicable
that.
today when a lot of people are feeling like they're getting kicked, right? Because of
Mhm.
layoffs and companies, merging, and they have duplication of roles, and someone's going to lose their job. Look at it sometimes as an opportunity and learn from it, and maybe try to take something and learn something new during this time.
Yeah. I mean, great advice to kind of diversify your skill set and what you know within the mortgage industry. I think that that's fantastic advice for anybody, whether they're at the beginning of their career or they're in a spot where, they just feel like they want to do something different. It keeps your brain alive,
Exactly.
learning more. You answered this a little bit earlier, but I'm wondering, if that was your real answer. So, like, if you were in mortgage and you were working a job, what would you be doing?
Oh, the gift wrap job. That
Yeah.
is, I love that. Um, there's a couple of things I'd love to do. It's hard to pinpoint just one. And I think about this too, as I'm not ending my career. I've still got some time left before I do retire. So I'm not going to put a date out there for it. But, there are a few things that I think about what I'm going to do when I do retire. And I'm no longer, seeing you at the Mortgage Collaborative conferences. And one thing, my passion, I love to travel. So if it's something that could encompass travel, my favorite vacation spot is St. John, USVI. Just fell in love with it a couple years ago. We're going back at the end of the month.
Oh,
Um, that would be one thing, or to be a interior decorator, but I think that's a hard job too. So probably something to do with travel. Let me plan your vacation and come with
I
you.
and come with you. Yeah, I can totally, based on, what I see from time to time on where you are, I can totally envision that. You would be awesome at that and everybody would have fun,
Yeah.
especially if they did take your advice and bring you along with them. You recently transitioned into a new role, and I'm always interested in learning from people, that make a move like that. Um, what is your favorite thing about what you're doing now?
Gosh, we need a lot more time to cover that. But first and foremost, I've joined a company that is fairly new as far as how long they've been in business. Just since September of 2020 is when we funded our first loan. A great time to get into the business was 2020. We don't have any legacy issues, which is really nice. But the core team has been together for over 20 years. So they've just been doing it at the banks forever and decided, we want to have our own place and be not constrained by, the conservative bank model, be able to pick our own technology and really run it the way we want to run it. So that is how Highland Mortgage came to be with the co-founders, Patrick Huchner and Mark Milam. So great friends of mine. I've known them for a long time. We've talked about working together off and on for years. And in August, it all finally fell into place. It was the right time for me in my career. They were ready to grow. They had the core group of people for the first 2 years and were ready to take it to the next level. So, since October, we've added 7 new branches. And also, we have now become licensed, I think, in 23 states, and we have another 16 pending. So, be on the lookout for Highland Mortgage. We may be in a town near you very soon. And if so, we'd love to talk to you. But I am in charge of all of sales and growth and expansion, which I love that. So love to meet as many new people. And if it looks like you're looking for a new opportunity, I'd love to share with why I think that Highland Mortgage is a very special, special place.
Yeah. Well, you can tell I mean, I can always tell. I've known you for a while now, and you're thriving because you're happy, which,
Yeah,
always makes your friends happy,
thanks.
to see that happen. So appreciate what you're doing. Of course, always wish you the most success and that you're having success in a market like what it is says something about you, definitely. So thank you for doing this with me today. I've loved having you. I always love talking with you, and you always make everything so easy. So appreciate you doing this with us today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored to be asked, and I love our friendship as well. And I will be in Nashville in September.
Yes.
So let me just know when I need to book my room. I love going to Nashville. More importantly, that was my very first mortgage collaborative conference that I went to, which was in 2017 when there was the eclipse there in Nashville. So it was very special to me.
Yes. Yes, I was there at that one as well. And yeah, for those of you who are listening to this, we have registration open as of yesterday at a great price for everybody going for the next 2 weeks. So, yes, we would love to have you there. And I absolutely positively cannot wait to see you.
Thanks. Look forward to seeing you soon.